Caroline might be old-fashioned, but she is very trusting and very reliable. She was not designed to travel at high speeds or climb steep grades. Because of this, she would have to go very slowly and carefully. This can unfortunately cause some delays. One thing Caroline couldn't get used to was the engines. She, unlike George, doesn't particularly hate them, but she couldn't understand why they were so rude and grouchy when around her. One evening, Caroline parked next to Toby and Henry. "I just don't understand," she flounced. "Every time I try to be really useful, you stubborn engines always get in my way. And you always blame me for everything that goes wrong in these parts." Henry let off steam angrily, but Toby was more polite. "Come now, dear," he said calmly. "You can't blame us for everything that goes wrong. We're just trying to do our jobs properly." "Plus," added Henry, "you're always stalling at the level crossing, making us late indeed." Just then, a scrap diesel pulled alongside her. "You're always breaking down out here," he sniggered. "The only way to fix your problems is to put you in a museum where you belong. Or even better," he paused, "in a scrapyard with all the rest of them claptraps." Caroline spluttered with fury. "I won't stand for this no more," she shouted as she strolled away. Caroline was on her way to the garage, but she couldn't stop thinking about those horrid engines she fought. "So rude and impatient and so ignorant," she flounced. "How would they like to know what it means to break down?" Later the next morning, Caroline was resting comfortably in her shed when her driver came up to her cab door. "We're to see Sir Tom Hatt at Knapford Station immediately," yawned Caroline. "At least I'll give my good old tires a spin." Caroline drove herself along the road. She was determined not to break down. The road up ahead was very steep, and the curves were very sharp, but she pressed on. Mustn't be late," she chanted. Her driver tried to ease her up. All was going well, until Caroline heard a strange racket. "That's not me, is it?" They soon turned a corner, and Caroline was shocked to see a large green diesel looking very miserable. "I beg your pardon," she asked, "but who, may I ask, are you?" The diesel coughed and choked. I'm Paxman. You may call me Derek. I prefer that name." "Oh, blast these teething troubles." "Teething troubles? What are those?" "Oh, I assume you haven't heard. See, I'm a new kind of diesel engine, and I was built with these kind of problems. My cooling system gives me grief every time I try to work." His driver stepped out of the cab. "We're glad you've stopped by. Do you think you can give me a ride to the next signal box? I'll telephone for help." Caroline was happy to help. "Hop aboard," she said, and with her gears gritting, Caroline made her way to the next signal box. There were very steep hills. Caroline was nervous, but then she remembered Derek. He needed her help, so she pressed on. "I'm fit to burst," she groaned. Soon she arrived at the nearest signal box, and the driver ran up and told the signalman what had happened. And soon help had come. Soon Caroline spoke to Derek. "How you feeling, son?" she asked. "I feel fine, chap, and it's all thanks to you." Caroline smiled, knowing she had made a good friend in Derek.